Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Dec and Dan Discuss Arrow, which I don't know if you saw that, Dan, but that is why I officially titled it.
I didn't actually know this.
Well, you clearly are not checking out the episodes, Daniel, because I did. That is what this show is now officially called. It's the most gimpy title ever, but it's what I came up with, so we're going to stick with it. There's a playlist on the channel, so it's official now. As per our last episode, where we discussed the pilot of Arrow, now following suit from that, we're going to be discussing Arrow Season 1, Episode 2. Very, very exciting times. Now, to make things a little bit different, to switch things up, and because I'm lazy, I'm going to let Dan take the lead on this one, as he's got all the notes, and he's got a lot to say about this episode.
Yeah, for once, I'm the one that's prepared, and Declan, as you can see, despite this video going up on his channel, is the one that is slacking.
Yeah, because
just going to put that out there.
If I've got a lackey, I might as well use him. So you can take the lead on this, Hoss, and you can just sort of go through your points, and we'll discuss, at your speed. We can do it however you like. You have free reign.
Nah, that's good. It's very dangerous that you're giving me this much free reign, because this could go anywhere.
Before we dive in, is there anything Arrowverse you would like to discuss outside of this?
Not really, because I've pretty much caught up on everything. Just really waiting for the new episodes to come out this week. It just feels like an eternity since the shows have been back. And then, as we were discussing earlier,
since the Flash.
Yeah, it's been mental. And then you think about it, you're so excited for them to come back. And like in the Flash's case, we're only going to get, I think, 4 episodes?
4 episodes, yeah.
And then it's over and done with. And then probably the same from what I remember for the other shows, other than Legends, because obviously they finished filming their season ages ago. So it is a bit weird. But it's still nice to have them back anyway. And plus, at least, like you say, at least with Legends, we've at least got a full season of a show to enjoy. So,
yeah. I mean, I've been catching up with Batwoman today. Well, Batwoman in the UK. So I've still just got to watch episode 4 of season 1, because that's where the UK's at. So I'm watching that. And then Legends, I just need to watch the most recent episode before the new one comes out tomorrow. But I'm excited for the returns. I am interested. Like, I saw this new trailer that Legends released. I've sort of been, with season 5 of Legends, I have been a bit more kind of lenient on it, and I have been a bit more accepting of what it is, even though I still completely fundamentally disagree with the direction the series has gone. I'm still a bit like, well, it's here now, let's just try and appreciate it for what it is. And
as in it's not as crap as season 4.
Yeah, and also as in it's not a superhero show anymore, it's just a comedy. It's not even connected to the Arrowverse really, so let's just roll with it. And yeah, I have actually been enjoying season 5 for the most part, and this back half looks ridiculous and, somewhat fun, so I'm going to try and enjoy it. Flash, I'm very looking forward to, despite the fact that we're obviously only getting episode 19 now. That'll be the finale. I'm still very excited, because Flash has been, like, as I look back on this season, I'm like, this has been a fantastic season of The Flash.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so good. And it's nice to think about that, because I haven't really had this reaction since season 2. So it's nice to be like, oh, wow, this season was great. And I'm hoping it wraps up well. Obviously, it will be a slightly impromptu ending, but I'm still excited to see what they do. I'm more interested, like, I made a video on it today, but I'm more interested to see, like, how they actually wrap up the story. Like, if they're going to wrap it up, if they're just going to leave it, or if they're going to wrap it up in, like, early parts of season 7.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's everything. And also, I just want to say, upon all my hate on these podcasts and videos, stuff like that, I don't hate Batwoman. It's fine. It's all right. I'm actually somewhat enjoying it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say. I'm only 3 episodes in, but it's all right.
Yeah. Well, considering that you're saying that at this stage, like, I think even I've said it to you and numerous other people, like, Batwoman does get a lot better post-Crisis, so the fact you're enjoying it now hopefully means that when you get past episode 9, you'll start to enjoy it even more, because trust me,
I'm quite enjoying it. I like I quite like the world. It kind of reminds me of Arkham a little bit. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. The Arkham video games. It kind of reminds me of that. And also, I quite enjoy just seeing, like, because I've just watched episode 3, and what really excited me about that was that they've just introduced Tommy Elliott, and I was like, that's awesome. And there's like a little Riddler Easter egg. So I'm getting excited. I am enjoying it quite a bit. Also, when does it? Just out of curiosity, when does it? Because I've just obviously seen episode 3, which is where Kate gets her actual suit. She's actually like got the Batwoman suit now.
Yeah.
When does it go past Elseworlds?
As far as I can remember, I think it is after that the episode you're on, episode 3. I think after then, that's when it goes from past Elseworlds. Because I think there's a scene that plays near the end, which I think they used during Elseworlds, like a shot of Batwoman on the rooftop. Yeah. I think that's supposed to signify that
Right,
beyond after that episode, we're past Elseworlds.
Right. Okay.
Again, they don't flat out say, unless I missed some like dialogue reference to it or whatever. But I'm pretty sure after that point, it is after Elseworlds.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I did see that shot at the end of episode 3. I was like, yeah, that's quite similar. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. All right, so that's just general Arrowverse chat out of the way. I'll now pass it over to you. You can talk about this episode.
Nice,
and we'll follow your notes or follow your lead, Hoss.
Oh, nice. So, what I will quickly say is that Declan is such a super fan of Arrow, but he dissed this episode by not stating its name, considering we named a podcast after it.
You know what? I was going to say...
Honor thy father.
I was going to say that this episode was called Honor Thy Father, but I wasn't 100% confident that it was, so I didn't want to say it.
No, you were just scared you were going to say Honor Thy Podcast.
Yeah, that's just normally what happens. It just rolls off the tongue.
No, an episode called Honor Thy Father, which, fun fact, has a kind of a sequel episode in season 5, Indeed. Episode 21, entitled Honor Thy Fathers.
Yeah,
I'm way too much of a nerd on this show.
So yeah, I did remember that as well, so we're all good. I'm not a complete scrub.
All right, so the first point I got from me writing down this episode was just once again, the action was absolutely amazing. I just put that literally as the first thing as I wrote, because as soon as I saw the opening fight scene on the rooftop, I was just like, oh yeah, the action's just amazing as usual. But especially on the rooftop, just because literally we have that introduction by Oliver, and I'm like, oh, this is already really good. And then straight into action. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so bloody amazing.
That good old season 1 action.
I know, where it's just Oliver not giving any shits, just pulling arrows into dudes, almost completely, utterly destroying a guy's face on a rotating fan. The only thing that ruins that scene is Stephen Amell's shocking delivery. But other than that, I don't care. I do not care because the scene is too badass.
Yeah, it is a bit weird though. You failed the city.
The weirdest thing is that, again, we were speaking before, and I actually watched the deleted scenes for this episode on the Blu-ray after I watched episode 2. And there's an alternate version of the opening sequence where Oliver's fighting the dudes on the rooftop. They actually intercut it with Quentin giving a report to his police officers about the hood. And obviously in there, because it's a deleted scene, they don't have any special effects. There's no sound effects or like ADRs. And the way that Steven says that line is even worse in the actual deleted scene. So I just clearly was like, they ADR'd that, and that's the best they came up with. Jesus. Yeah. Also, it's just funny to watch Steven pull back on his bow and there's no arrows there at all because they're all CGI. It just looks so stupid.
Yeah, I need to see this. Unfortunately, I don't have my season 1 Blu-ray at the moment, but I need.
It is funny. It's absolutely hilarious. But no, the actual opening fight sequence is amazing, and I just loved all the action in the episode. It was really, really cool. The next thing I wrote down was there was a really funny scene that I've never noticed until now. This is the benefit of the rewatches. You find scenes that you just can't remember, and this was one of them. There's like a scene where I think Oliver's going to court for them to renounce the fact that he's alive, but when Diggle comes in to tell Oliver the car's ready. Like, Tommy puts his arm out for Moira, and she completely snuffs it.
Yeah.
That had me in stitches, and I never, ever realised that on any of my other watches of this episode.
Yeah.
I never remembered that scene.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. That did make me laugh. It's just the way he just gets completely ignored by Moira.
Oh, God. God, it's just, again, I just cannot remember ever seeing that in this episode. So when I saw it, it just completely caught me off guard. Because I always think to myself, I've rewatched this season so many times that I know everything inside and out. And the fact on my 5th rewatch, I didn't remember that is crazy. But no, that was very, very funny. Again, the comedy in this episode was very good. Tommy, as usual, was on point. I love Tommy. Like, Oh, this season's just so painful because whenever I see Tommy on screen, I just love him so much. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
Why did you have to die?
I love Tommy's moment with Oliver as well after he comes out the courtroom and he sees Laurel. I like how how positive energy he just gives off.
Yeah.
And that is the way he's like, "Come on, buddy," and just like sort of picks up the energy straight away after it dies. I think it's great.
That's the kind of positivity we all need at the moment.
Exactly. In quarantine, we all need a Tommy.
We all need a Tommy. All of us do. Yeah, and then I got written down here as well was that obviously I just noticed it was something that we touched upon with the previous episode, but the color grading and obviously how different it was to the pilot.
Yeah,
and realizing it now, I do slightly miss it just because I do like that color palette in the pilot, but then again, I like it as well because it gives it its own unique feel.
Yeah,
with the pilot episode, and then in here it's just it was a bit more noticeable. But I just wrote it down nevertheless. I don't know why. That's just me being a pretentious little dickhead. So I wrote that anyway. There's an excuse for something to write.
No,
and then I've got, I don't know why I've written this. I've just wrote, Dig's my guy. I know why. It's because it's the first time Oliver calls Diggle Dig. And then obviously, as I heard that, I can't remember which scene it was. But, I think it was after, Moira asked Oliver why he ditched Diggle at the end of the pilot, when he gets him in the headlock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, Dig's my guy." And just, I'm not gonna lie, a tear actually fell from my eye when I heard him say that. Just because whenever I hear him give Diggle nicknames, I'm just like, "Oh, this is the start of the bromance, boys."
The bromance is coming back.
The true end game romance, not Olicity. It's Dolliver, boys.
Dolliver all the way, and that's official as well because Katie Cassidy and Willa Holland have both credited Dolliver, so. The bromance is real.
See, I would not have been averse to Oliver being gay and him and Diggle being in a romance. I would not have been averse to that.
See, this is so much better than Supercorp.
Oh, without question. And plus, the fan base wouldn't be as toxic, would they?
No.
Everyone would just love it. Everyone would just love it. There'd be no argument.
Everyone would be here for it. It's top tier, wonderful relationships.
The world would be a better
Clark
place.
And Lois. It's just
True. And then I also wrote down as well. This was something that I wrote down and I kept on crossing out because I wasn't sure how I felt about it in this episode, and then eventually I kept it in. And this is probably one of my biggest negatives of the episode. I found Thea quite annoying in this episode.
Yeah.
But the reason I kept on crossing it out was because I could kind of see why they wrote her like that, because of the fact that she's basically there to give the audience an insight as to what it was like with, Oliver not being there and how she reacted to it for those 5 years, and then he comes back and he's kind of neglecting everyone. But I felt like it kind of came at the expense of her character, because she just seemed very, very annoying all the time, just constantly whinging and moaning at Oliver, and it just dragged on for a little bit.
I think the problem with that comes from, I think it's the fact that with Oliver as a character, we are supposed to get the impression that he was incredibly different before he got on the boat, and we don't really see that really. We do a little bit in the pilot and a few of the flashbacks here and there. We do see it a little bit, but not really. And I think, when Thea says, I felt more connected to you when you were dead more than now. And I think the way I interpret that line is that she's basically saying on a basic level, you're just different. You're a different person now. I felt like when I was talking to you at your grave, I could hear talking back, the Oliver that I knew, and the man stood in front of me is not that person. And I think that's what it is. And the problem is that we don't really see, because, you see that one shot in the pilot where, the paparazzi, where Oliver's got his arm around that girl and he's yelling in their face and stuff. And that's kind of the closest we get. We don't really see the version of Oliver that Thea would have known. So I think that's kind of where that comes from. Because, Thea is written kind of annoyingly, but again, also it makes sense. I like the fact she does sort of say, I know it was hell where you were, but it was hell here too. I think she has some good lines and some good points to make.
Yeah. It was something that I kind of, it's one of my few minor problems with the whole of season 1 is that at times I just do find Thea a bit annoying, mainly because her purpose in the season is a bit repetitive, just to be there to re-emphasize that Oliver's been gone for 5 years and that, you're different. You're not my brother. You're not my father. I just found that very repetitive about the first season, or at least that's what I remember. And then when I saw it this episode, I was like, ugh, again.
Yeah.
But then, as I say, it's not entirely a negative because I do understand why it's there. But like you say, I think because of the fact that we'd never really seen in the show what Oliver was like before the 5 years, other than maybe a few flashbacks. I think that's why it doesn't have the effect on me that it probably should have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just something that just kind of begrudged me.
Like, that's what's good about Thea, is that you see her truly, like, I think she has one of the better arcs out of a lot of the characters, because she changes so much as the series goes on, especially obviously when Malcolm becomes more involved. So yeah, I think Thea, like, she starts off this way as obviously, I mean, she is a teenager as well at the end of the day. Like, I don't know how old Will Holland was when she shot this, but you know, the character is supposed to be a teenager, and you know, teenagers are like that, you know.
Yeah,
we're teenagers, so it's
well, you're not anymore.
Yeah, you're not anymore.
Man's technically classed as an adult somehow. I still don't get that, but
yeah.
And then after that, I put I don't know why, I just put a weird scene Quentin with hair, just because I'm so used to seeing my boy. I'm so used to seeing my boy pull Blackthorn ball. I was gonna say, I think the bald look suits him better.
I agree. I do agree. Yeah, his hair looks a bit. Because his hair looks a bit raspy. It's a bit too... Like, it looks like it's going anyway, so you might as well just get rid of it.
It's almost got the same problem as Renee's wig, where it looks like a completely different character in its own show.
Imagine Quentin, but with Renee's wig.
Oh, beautiful. That'd be beautiful. If you had that, then I wouldn't have any complaints. I'd be crying if you shaved it off.
What happens is that in the original timeline, Quentin doesn't actually die in season 6. He makes it to the flash forwards, and we see that wig. He has matching wigs with Renee. I miss Quentin, man. Like, every time I look at him on the screen, I'm like, I miss you so much. Like, I mean, I know the show's over, so technically it doesn't matter anymore, but I'm just like, I miss you so much. Like, why did you have to die? I mean, it made sense for you to die, but why did you have to die? That's like the best character of the show.
Oh, Quentin, man. I just, like I say, it was just a true hoss. And then written down as well, there was kind of a weird filter they did as well. I don't know if you spotted this with the flash forwards. They kind of had this bit of over the flashback. Sorry, God, I'm going again. How can I get them too confused?
The level of quality between them.
Well, unless you're including season 3 and 4. True.
Yeah.
But yeah, the flashbacks, they kind of had like a really overexposed white look, which I didn't like either.
Yeah, and the frame rate's kind of stilted a little bit.
Yeah,
which really annoys me, because that's what, like, speaking of Batwoman, like, that really annoys me in Batwoman with the flashback. And I was told that gets better, and it hasn't yet. People have been lying to me. I was saying, people have told me that's got better. It really hasn't. Like, I mean, I think the frame rate has improved a little bit, but
the frame rate gets better, but the frame rate gets better, but the actual look of it, nah.
I'd rather just not stilt it at all, because it's just annoying. But yeah, they kind of do it in this as well. But I mean, it will go eventually.
It goes eventually. From what I remember, I think it's there from like until about episode, I think, 5 or 6. So I'm happy that they dropped it after this first few episodes, because it doesn't work. I get why they do it, because they want to create a proper separation between the present and the past. But you didn't need to do it like that, because it just makes the flashbacks look really ugly in comparison.
Disgustingly ugly.
Yeah, I'm just like, no, I don't need this. The only saving grace is that there's literally only 3 flashback scenes in the whole episode, so it's not too much.
Get my boy Byron, he's coming in.
My boy
Byron.
The only reason you love him this much is because of bloody Woo Assassins. If it was not for Woo Assassins, you'd just be like, oh yeah, my boy. But because it's Woo Assassins, ooh, my boy.
I watched Woo Assassins, but it's just after Woo Assassins, I was like, you are the absolute god, because his character is amazing in that.
The true disrespect is that you didn't realise he was in Altered Carbon until I told you about it, because you were so used to seeing him with a beard.
Yeah, I was very confused.
You see, I'm the true Byron Man lover. You're just a follower. And then I also got written down as well. We obviously got introduced in this episode to China White, who obviously is quite a bit of a recurring villain over Arrow, and it was just really cool to see her in this episode. She's just always been one of those villains that I've really enjoyed seeing on screen, and I just really enjoy it whenever she comes back. I think just because Kelly Hu just is really, really good in the role, and she does bring a lot of physicality to it. I think she just has a really good dynamic with Oliver.
Also, one thing I didn't remember about China White as well is the scene where Oliver first comes across her, is that he, kind of like the Russia moment from the last episode, like he just talks Chinese randomly.
Yeah.
So again, it's kind of like just like a hint that something else was going on, because yeah, he just like speaks Chinese randomly. Which I mean, I
No.
guess we were talking about in the last episode about how whether they planned the flashbacks originally. I mean, I guess this again confirms maybe that they did. I mean, I guess you could have written in the fact maybe he learned a bit from Byron. Who knows?
Yeah. Or
Byron,
Shadow.
Yao Fei, or Shadow. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool though.
Nah, that was it. Was just good, like I say, to get something with her. It was just really nice. And then
I mean,
the
she was
last
pretty
one,
important to the show because I mean they brought her back for the final season. So
yeah, yeah, because I remember as well in conventions before the season aired that they were making a big deal about China White being in this season because obviously she was quite a pivotal part of Arrow Year One, the comic book, which obviously
yeah,
the whole of Arrow season one's quite inspired by. So no, it was cool to see her here. And the last thing I've written down is the one that I'm very curious to see Declan's opinion on.
here we go.
So there is a scene
Let's see
in
if
the
I'm
episode.
right.
There's a scene in the episode about halfway through where Oliver goes to Laurel's
Yep,
and they have ice cream.
yep.
And then Oliver mentions about how his mum wants him to take a position at the science division of Queen Consolidated. And then Laurel turns around and says, I can't really picture you as master of the universe. So it was planned all along. They always knew he was going to be master of the universe in the second episode of the first season. I told you it was all written in the stars. And this man said, oh, no, they never planned it. I told you, son. I told you.
I'm not buying it.
I am buying it. It was there.
I'm not having it.
It's there.
It's just dialogue. I'm not
It's
having
there,
it.
boys. Fam, when that Arrow episode of Crisis aired, the first thing I saw on Twitter was someone that I follow who literally screen grabbed that scene. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I knew it. If this man makes any arguments that it wasn't planned from the beginning, it was. It was.
So you're telling me the original plan from Arrow all the way back at this point was Oliver is going to become the Spectre in Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover with 5 other DC shows that we don't know yet, but it's all fine, it'll happen. And he's going to die a blazing death going up against the Anti-Monitor, while at this point he's just fighting bloody mafia guys and triads.
Look, see, we've got either one of two options here. You either be the crazy little idiot, which is me, and believe in that, or it's a brilliant piece of foreshadowing, accidental foreshadowing.
I mean, I'll admit, right, when I heard that line, I was wondering if you were going to bring it up, because I heard it, and I myself, I was like, holy shit. But, because there was a moment, I just heard that line, I was like, no way. Nah. Nah. I was like, I'm not having this. But, I mean, I can't deny that line, it completely took me off guard, because I was like, damn, I mean, am I wrong? But I'm still not buying it. I mean, I get that it is, again, I think it could be accidental foreshadowing. I think it's a bit more metaphorical than literal.
But now it has become something else.
True. Very true. I was so right though. Before we started recording, Dan was like, "Oh, I've got something I want to hear your thoughts on." I knew exactly what it was going to be. I knew exactly. Like, as soon as you said that, I was like, "It's that line. I know it is. It's that line." Yeah. I mean, fine. If you want me to admit it, then yeah, fine.
Get in, lads. We did it. We've converted him. We've converted him to the correct side of life.
No.
Yeah. And then that is actually all I've written. They're all my notes for this episode. I just ended with that Master of the Universe. That Master of the Universe line was literally just written in massive capitals at the bottom of my page. If I could take a picture of it and show you all, I would. But
well, if you send it to me, I'll pop it in the video.
Oh, without question, I will.
Hang on, let me note down the timer right here. 24 minutes, right? There you go. If you send that to me, I'll pop it in the video. I have one thing I'd like to bring up. This is one thing I've actually noted down that I found super weird. I don't know if you noticed this. Right at the end, after he's, gone to Martin Summers and after he's just escaped from Quentin and that. So, the shot where he's packing away all of his stuff?
Yeah.
Did you notice that's an entire reverse shot?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, literally before he goes to Martin Summers, we see him get the bow, put the hood on. and then it's the exact same scene, it's the exact same shot, but it's reversed.
Yeah, that was a bit
It's
weird.
really weird because I remember watching it. I was like, "This looks familiar." I was like, "Oh my god, this is the exact same shot." And then even if you look at the way his eyelid opens, it's really unnatural, and like his body movements are really unnatural. And it's just like me and you will know this, like as video editors, like you know when something's been reversed, and it just looks off. And I remember just like it was the way his eyelid opens specifically. I was like, "What?" Like it's complete reverse shot. It's really weird. Like it's also like because it's in because I know that Chris Stockman pointed this out in his Revenge of the Sith review. The scene where Anakin is staring across the window, across Coruscant.
Yeah.
And that shot is also reversed, and it's exactly the same thing. It's the eyelid. You can see the way Anakin's eyelid opens. It's just weird, and it's the same with this. Like it's the way he unzips the hood and takes it off, and then his eyelid is really weird. I just noticed it. I've never seen it before. I was like, it's just a really weird thing to me. Like, I don't understand why they did that, and I think it's not really well done either. So it looks really obvious when you like look at it. Like for some people, it may pass them by, and like say for me, it passed me by. I've never noticed it before, but it's just this one time when you actually notice it. You're like, that's really bad. It's really weird. And it's right at the end as well. It's just like I don't get it.
Nah, it's proper weird. I don't get. See, I don't get why they can like try and put things like that in the episode. Because the thing is, sad people like me and Declan will always see things like this. We will spot these things.
And also, like, it wouldn't have been that difficult just to shoot another, like, just literally 1 minute of footage of him just slightly doing it differently. It's just the fact they take the exact same shot and reverse it. I was like, what the hell? It's so weird.
Must have been so stretched for time.
I know. I don't know. It's just one thing. Like, it was like my biggest takeaway from the episode. I like just watched it. I was like, what is happening? But yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
But are you ready for the next episode though? With we have a certain guest star coming in on the next episode. Are you ready?
Oh no.
I think you are ready. It's the return. Okay. It's the return of our Fifi.
Oh no.
You thought I was talking about a guest star on our show, didn't you?
No, I thought you meant Deadshot.
Oh no, not Deadshot.
Oh no.
Fifi's coming back.
Fuck. Oh,
that should have been the cliffhanger at the end of this episode.
If that had been, oh my god.
Just a red pen falling to the floor. Arrow.
Fuck no.
It was there from the start. It was foreshadowed from the start, just like the Spectre. It was foreshadowed.
Yeah, right, because Oliver was always meant to fall in love with Fifi, and he was always his first love, even though this whole season he pines after Laurel.
Yeah.
Can I just point out as well, the beautiful Laura scenes in this episode, I surrender myself to them.
Top tier.
They are the end game.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, you just have to look at the way Laurel runs to Oliver after they get attacked in the apartment.
See, it's... Why? Why don't you just do this? Why did you have to go and pander to those idiots? And then result in season 4? I'm sorry. As I watch this relationship during the first 2 seasons, I will cry about every single moment that is Laura related. I do not care. But, all right, I usually criticize shippers and I hate ships, but this is the one exception. I'm allowed to have my one.
I have a question.
What?
This is something that, I mean, we shouldn't really discuss this because this is like way in season 5. I may have asked you this in the past as well. Would you rather Oliver be with Felicity or Dinah?
In season 5?
Yes.
So
like when Dinah was like first introduced as a character, before we got, you know, all the great Vince storyline and all that. Justice for Vince. We
Fam, Dinah has never had a storyline, and when she has, it has been terrible.
Yeah, Black Siren kind of nicked to that storyline. Yeah, who would you rather be with, Felicity or Dinah?
Well, as the Weekly Planet would always say, if I had a gun to my dick and a gun to my balls, I'd probably have to say Dinah, but then that's only because at least with that we'd be getting some form of the Green Arrow and Black Arrow relationship. But I'd rather just not have either. I'd rather just have him not be in a relationship if that's the case.
Damn.
Which is a bit of a bit of a cheat's way out. But the thing is that it's for a story reason. it's the only Lauren and Oliver's the only relationship for me that works properly. With the Felicity one, yeah, Stephen and Emily have good chemistry, but I just don't feel like it necessarily makes all that much sense for him to be with her, and the way they try to retcon it just doesn't make sense. And then with him and Dinah, it's just they never really set anything up in the first place. Yeah. Besides, I've probably been more vying for Dinah and Diggle to be in a relationship, weirdly enough, which is something that I remember in early season 6. You were like, "Oh, are these two going to have a relationship together?"
Even though I completely forgot that Diggle was married by this point, I completely forgot. Or Dinah and Renee, give Hoss a bit of loving.
Yeah, Hoss needs a new love interest. He's been a bit lonely since his previous missus died.
His wife died. Yeah, I mean, if he's in Green Arrow and the Canaries, that's he should be in Green Arrow and the Canaries. He's like the only character really who can be. So let's just roll with it. Let's just do it.
Just give Rick Gonzalez another job after Arrow, please. Yeah. I just love him. I love him so much.
And he's genuinely I genuinely decided this. He is the nicest Arrow cast member I've met. Rick Gonzalez. He's genuinely my favorite I've met. He was so nice. Because he was just so caring and loving and just spent so much time with me. And then even the person I was with, who by the way doesn't watch Arrow, she was just sort of stood beside me, sort of slightly behind me, and then he just turned and looked at her and then asked for her name and then she started talking to her more than me. I was like, Rick, I'm the fan. Hello, talk to me. I want details. I want season 8 details. Talk to me.
It's because he didn't have anything to say, bro. Because other than the Mayor storyline, that's all he could say.
Yeah, I was literally saying that to this exact person who was with me. I was like, oh yeah, the reason why he didn't say much is because he literally had nothing to do in season 8. He did nothing. Oh, poor Rick.
I mean, to be fair as well, this has come into my little defense bit of season 8. He did also have to cope with the fact that he learned that his daughter died in the future, and then she was killed by Diggle's son. So technically, he did have that story as well. He did have that conflict with Diggle.
See that though?
We did. There was 2 or 3 scenes where he had a conflict with Diggle about it. There was. Oh my god,
it was basically off screen.
No, it wasn't.
Episode 4 was too busy.
Rewatch that episode, bro. Rewatch that episode.
He was too busy focusing on Mia and bloody William.
Oh, shut up. Get onto your extra points about this episode if you have any.
I haven't got any.
Stop getting off topic. Of course you didn't, because you didn't write anything down.
Yes, because I'm lazy.
See, why? For the pilot, you had God knows how many notes, and then for episode 2, you're just nah, I've got none. I'm sorry. I'm lazy this episode. You can't turn it on and off like a switch, bro.
Let me have a think. What else we got in this episode?
Oh my god!
We got the scene of Oliver going up to Malcolm and completely exposing him by just owning him in front of the Star City public. that was pretty good.
Malcolm.
No, what's his name? Walter.
Walter. Oh my god. This man, you forgot about Walter Steele.
Speaking of Malcolm, he kind of shows up in this episode a little bit.
Yeah. We don't actually see him.
No, we don't see him, but you see his beautiful neck of that stunt double. And that we get the first look at the logo of the Undertaking and the Star City Underground. That's great. Good stuff.
Nice. Good shit, my friend. Good shit.
Yeah. Oliver fires a lot of arrows in this, which, he doesn't do much.
Oh, nice. Shut up. He does fire arrows. And if you're not careful, I will go back and watch the whole of season 8 and do a sum count of how many arrows he fires. And then I will do this. And then I'll do the same thing for this season. And then when I grab season 8, I will get the equivalent of 23 episodes worth. What does that matter? What does that matter?
I want the Green Arrow to be firing arrows, not going around pretending he's a god.
Firing arrows. He was firing arrows.
What? At tennis balls with Mia?
He was firing arrows in between that as well.
He should have shot an arrow at Mia's arse. Right, let's wrap this up here because I'm gonna get angry soon. So I'm already at half an hour, so we need to wrap this up. We want to thank you guys for listening to this episode of...
You haven't given it a rating, you absolute numpty. You absolute numpty.
We have 3 ratings.
You haven't forgotten. You haven't forgotten how your own show works.
Right, here we go. Let me come up. Yeah, okay, I've got my rating.
Right. So, what is your rating for the episode, Declan?
Oh, I don't know. Do I give it higher than that? You do yours, because I'm still figuring this out.
You do yours. You are so lazy. It's absolutely incredible. You make me look really active in comparison.
Yeah, you should thank me. You do so well out of me. Like the amount of people you've met at cons because of me.
Hey,
You deserve
I've met my.
I do a lot for you, Hoss.
I've met my own people of cons way before you started going to them, fam. So I'd watch your mouth if I were you. I'd watch your mouth if I were you. I held your stuff while you went up and basically shat yourself in front of Stephen and Mel. I made a worthwhile sacrifice. I did.
I thought I mugged you off.
And what did I get? Stephen looked at me and just looked at me as if to say, I feel sorry for that guy just stood there with all that kid stuff. I feel so sorry for him. Stephen felt my sympathy. You noob. I've got my score anyway.
Well then.
I was kind of tossing between a 7 and an 8 for this episode. Because
that's where I'm up to.
Just because there was good stuff about it, but it didn't particularly stand out.
Yeah.
There's nothing that really stood out about this episode, which is, I think, what would probably be deserving if it was going to get like a rating of easily of like a 9 or something. But I think in the end, I'm probably going to give this a 7. It was still a good episode. I enjoyed it. But there just wasn't anything that particularly stood out. I mean, I could be a twat and say the lore of the scene stood out, but that'd just be me being an absolute fanboy. So putting my thinking cap on, I'm gonna have to give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm also giving it a 7. That was the first number I wrote down. I mean, I think it's
still good.
This episode, like you say, it's good. It doesn't really stand out, and the only scene to me that really did stand out was the end with the reverse shot, and that was kind of a negative. So, but yeah, I'll go 7 out of 10. That feels right. Let's go for that. Damn, we're still agreeing on these ratings. We are doing well. I want to see how long. We have to see how long this takes before we actually end up disagreeing on one.
Although, to be fair, on both of these episodes, you've let me say my rating first, and then you said yours afterwards. So it could be just a case that you're copying me so that I don't rip you a new one.
I can show you my notes. That was 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. And then I also wrote down an 8.0 on my personal review, and then I scribbled that out and went back to 7. So, yeah, there we go. There's our rating, there's our summary. Let us know your thoughts in this episode if you're rewatching this along with us. Make sure you put it down in the comments. Let us know your thoughts and your rating. Make sure you don't copy us by also putting 7. Put your own. Thank you for listening to this episode of Dec and Dan Discuss Arrow. And make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads from me or from this series. The next episode will be out soon-ish. Yeah, and that is all. We hope to see you guys again soon-ish.
Soonish.
And always remember, honour thy father. And subscribe to Honour Thy Podcast, even though it's dead. Bye!